Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. So, Chai with my Bhai is back, and Alhamdulillah, this time season 3 is going to be available on the podcast app, both on Android and Apple devices. So, if you're on either of those, then click the link below, inshallah. Subscribe to the podcast. I promise you, you're not going to want to miss it. And now it's accessible for you wherever you are. If you're on the train, you can listen to it with your headphones in, or you've got AirPods, Beats, whatever headphones you have, inshallah. You can listen to it wherever you are, whenever you want, inshallah. And if you're watching on YouTube, as always, just remember you can watch the video. And all the previous episodes from the last 2 seasons are available on YouTube. If you go to the playlist on Nasiha Session, the YouTube channel, if you go to the playlist, it's called Chai with my Bhai. You can find all the previous episodes there. And inshallah, from now on, all the future episodes on the podcast app. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'ad, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So, brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Chai with my Bhai. Today we got, mashallah, Allahumma barik. We've got the man himself, Yasin, with us. Ustad Yasin, rather, apologies. Put some respect on his name. He's here, inshallah, to join us alongside Imran and Saad. Give salam, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
So today we thought, as we've got, Ustad Yasin with us, we'll do an interesting topic. Something which I'm sure every single one of you watching this are going to enjoy. And that is the topic of marriage meetings. So not only, inshallah, you're going to enjoy this episode, you're also going to benefit a lot, especially if you're going in for marriage meetings. So that can be the first wife, second wife, third wife, fourth wife, whatever it is. Marriage meetings are something which everyone who's looking to get married at some point will probably end up doing, unless you're having an arranged marriage, in which case the marriage meeting is the nikah, is the marriage meeting. But we're going to go on the premise that most people who are going to get married are going to have a marriage meeting before they get married. Now, the question I want to start off with Yasin, as he's our guest, is what's the reasoning, what's the hikmah behind having a marriage meeting? Why not just, get married, sign the contract, and then, oh, hi, nice to meet you.
You mean without them getting to know each other?
Yeah.
As in, so you mean what's the hikmah behind getting to know each other before you get married?
Or marriage meetings in general.
Marriage meetings.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. So we have the hadith of Jabir radiallahu anhu, where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he told him to go and look. He said, فَإِنَّ فِي أَعْيُنِ الْأَنصَارِ شَيْئًا. He said that, go and look at the woman, or look at what مَا تَدْعُو إِلَى نِكَاحِهَا, what's going to call you to want to marry this person.
Mm-hmm.
So from that hadith, we see that the Prophet ﷺ gave us the reason for looking before getting married. And that is so that you know what you're getting into, you know what you're about to marry. So getting to know what you're about to marry. So a lot of people, they have this misconception that Muslims, or it's a cultural misconception, that the only way that you can get married is by not knowing the wife. You never seen her before. Some cultures, they have that. You don't see the wife ever, you get married on that day, and you should be happy with that. But Islam, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that we need to be content with what we're going to be marrying. So because of that, the hikmah, the wisdom behind meeting the person, the woman or the man, the woman that you're going to meet, to marry, is so that you're content with her in terms of marrying her. So for that reason, the Sharia gives us things like looking. You're allowed to look at her, and you're allowed to obviously meet with them before you marry them. So that's from the wisdom. That's one of the main wisdoms why we've been allowed these marriage meetings.
So anyone else have any?
No,
wisdoms?
I'm saying, like, obviously I can't speak for other cultures, but obviously from Asian culture, we obviously know amongst a lot of the elders that husband, wife, auntie, uncle, there's no love between them. Do you get me? And they're just there for
They're
the
a
kids.
married couple for the kids.
Yeah, they're married couple for the kids. And the reason is, a lot of that is because they were forced in, maybe forced is the wrong word, but they were brought into marriages where they were not allowed to get to know the person before. Do you get me? Where in my culture, back home, back in the days, the way our elder generation would do it is they'd just be showing a picture at max. They would not be able to sit in front, even have a conversation, just showing a picture at the most.
And a lot of the time, the option to say no was taken away as well.
Yeah.
It was kind of like them ones
I mean,
where
the guy
this
can
is
say
who
no,
you're marrying.
but for the woman, it's harder.
No, but even for the guys,
yeah,
they were kind of like,
guys.
we've chosen her for you. Here's a picture. Have a look at it. Stay with it.
Yeah.
But you see, one of the conditions of nikah, actually getting married, one of the conditions that the scholars they mention in the books of fiqh is that you must have rida, which is you must be pleased with the marriage. So they say that if a marriage happens and someone is forced to be
That
married.
شرط الصحة.
شرط الصحة according to some scholars, and some then شرط الوجوب اللزوم.
So just
So
explain,
she can
explain
leave.
the difference between the two. for
So
people.
some of them say that it's a condition for the marriage to actually be valid in the first place.
That's شرط الصحة.
Yeah, for the marriage to be valid in the first place, that the both parties must be pleased with this nikah contract going through.
So what you're saying is
Just
if, they,
before
if,
we
they,
move
if they're
on.
not pleased, that means the marriage is invalid.
That means the marriage is valid according to some scholars. Yes.
Okay, but before we move on from that point, 'cause some people might be watching this thinking, when I got married, I wasn't happy at the time of marriage. Now I'm okay, but at the time I wasn't. Does that mean my nikah isn't valid?
No, exactly. So that's one opinion. The other opinion, which seems to be more correct,
Oh, okay.
is stronger, Allah, is that it is luzum, meaning the marriage is correct. The marriage is correct, but the woman has a choice to leave that marriage
If she wants to.
if she was forced into that marriage. Because as you know, obviously the marriage, the father does the qabul al-ijab al-qabul, which is the
does that
acceptance
mean?
and the
Oh,
rejectance
okay.
of the signing of the contract. The
Yeah.
father does, the wali does that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really sign the contract. She doesn't do that. But what she does have is that if she's forced now, she can go to the judge and get that annulled. So the point is that one of the conditions of marriage is rida, is both parties must be pleased with this contract. So that shows something, that this whole forced marriage stuff is not really something, and that's allowed in the Sharia. A woman came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that I was forced into a marriage. My father forced me into a marriage. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave her the choice to leave the marriage. So the woman said, I don't want to leave the marriage, but I just wanted to tell the women that they do have a choice. I wanted the women
so she
to know
did it
they
just
have
to
a choice.
show them.
Yeah, just to show them that the
Allah
women,
barik.
you do have a choice. So this
Laha.
whole forced marriage thing is something that is not necessarily encouraged. Sometimes it can be, but not necessarily fundamentally encouraged in the Sharia. And because of that, it is legislated for a person to look at the person they're marrying before they marry them.
And just to mention, also there's a difference between arranged marriage and forced marriage.
There's a difference between.
Arranged marriage and forced marriage.
What's the difference? Because they seem synonymous.
No, it's not. But that's what I'm saying. That's silliness, isn't it? Arranged marriage is when family members might. It's like, for example, if you go to a brother and you say, "Brother, can you introduce me to someone?" And he arranges it on your behalf. It's just basically you going directly.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
But then even within arranged marriages, you have the right to say no.
No.
And sometimes arranged marriage is not bad because, your parents know you best and they know what's best for you. So they're going to, a lot of the time, know what you want and they're going to know what's good for you. So they might go out of their way and bring you options and potentials. They might arrange potential prospects that might be
All
good
an
for you.
arranged marriage means is someone is arranging it for you. Whether that's your friends, whether that's your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
But
In
you
other
still-
words, pretty much almost every single marriage, in a way,
It's
is an
actually
arranged
arranged,
marriage
yeah.
because someone arranged
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Unless you actually found the sister yourself, said this particular sister right here.
Yeah.
I
But
want
even
her.
then, it's an arranged marriage because
By
you arranged
yourself.
it.
Yeah.
So every
Yeah.
marriage is an
Yeah.
arranged marriage.
But
that
according to the
that
Urf-
is usually
according to
called a
Urf,
love
it's not
marriage.
arranged marriage.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you're right.
that's
yeah,
called a love
marriage.
marriage. But even then, love marriage is the wrong word because do you love her? Can you love her without getting to know her?
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
You can. Of
Marriage,
course you can.
and they call that marriage. You can, but it's like not likely, innit?
You can.
Yeah, you can, but it's not likely.
It happens a lot.
No, it doesn't, man.
SubhanAllah.
Infatuation
What,
happens.
Are you in love? Subhanallah. The way you're saying it, as in, yeah, like,
In
whoa,
fact-
I fell in love, bro. That is happening.
Infatuation is more common, but not love.
No, yeah, ishq, man. Ibn al-Qayyim got the book of
Yeah, but ishq is a
Adab.
disease, man.
Okay,
that's
listen.
love.
Huh?
That's we're digressing.
love.
Let's come back to
Is ishq not obsession?
Ishq is obsession
this is
based
what
on love.
happens when you do these kind of topics, guys.
No, love is of different types. There's obviously, like, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa,
Majnun
whoa.
Layla, you have in Arabic poetry, Majnun Layla.
Yeah.
The guy who was crazy over
That's
Layla.
ishq, right? That's obsession.
That's ishq, which is love, based on love.
It's a type of love.
So it is love.
So it's love, right?
Are you a lover or a
It's
fighter?
not the kind of. I don't find that real love, like
Ibn
love.
Qayyim
Mawadda,
says-
mawadda can happen the first time.
Ibn al-Qayyim says
Still
love
getting
is a
it.
disease. And the way to cure that disease is to marry the one you love.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, that's a bar.
So you can love. I don't know, there's this misconception that you can't love before marriage. You can. But necessarily you should stay away from it because you might do something crazy. Zina or something like that. Yeah.
Had that guy who
No, but
climbed the minaret and then he saw the woman and he went to marry her and then he
Real
became-
love
became a kafir
before
and then
marriage.
he
I
died.
don't know, man.
Okay,
But
coming
it's
back
not
to
likely. It's not likely.
We'll see inshallah.
It's not likely, bro. Wallahi, it's not likely. What, falling in love before marriage?
The
It's not
host is a
likely.
bit.
Oh, I'm sideman, just ignore me. Just carry on, carry on. Please, we're all enjoying the conversation.
No, if someone sees someone and
First,
then
you
they
telling me
fall
love at first
You
sight
get
is not a
notepad?
common thing?
Take some
Akhi?
notes.
I'm not saying it's common.
You just
Yeah,
said
not-
you said it is.
No,
Not pen and pen, take some
loving
notes.
is common.
Yeah, you just said love at first sight is
No,
common.
not at first sight. Loving before marriage is common. Love at first sight, I don't know if that's
Loving
common or
before
not.
marriage can happen.
I think it's common. Is it
Yeah,
not common?
it's common because they get into haram relationships.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm talking about if you do it the right way. The likelihood of you falling in love with her.
What he's trying to say is that the love will develop through the marriage
I
as you
agree.
start the
I
marriage.
fully agree. But what I'm
I know a
disagreeing
brother
with-
who recently is falling in love.
and is he married?
He's just trying to be.
Exactly. See. So my point is, he said that you can't be in love before marriage.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say you can't be. It's not rare. It's not common. I said.
Okay, you changed
I repeated
that.
like 4 times. I repeated like 4 times, bro.
Yeah, at the beginning.
I don't even remember. I wasn't even paying attention. But coming back to the
Sorry.
topic, which we're to do with marriage meetings. So we've established that the reasoning behind marriage meetings is so that you can, and you mentioned a few things you can do. You can look, so you can see and find that which pleases you, that which you think you're going to be pleased with, and is going to cause love to develop between you and the other person. Now, what's the actual application of this? Because if you say to someone, you're allowed to see, that which pleases you.
Yeah.
You got guys out there, they're pleased by different things. So they might want to turn and say,
But
what, I want to see X, I want to see Y, I want to see Z.
Before that, I think there's one thing that needs to be discussed. Yeah.
Go
which
for
is
it.
that this marriage meeting that takes place has to take place under the
Oh, come to that.
I think now.
Okay, do you want to do that first? Okay, how the marriage meeting should happen?
No, not how necessarily, but just
That's for you.
the mahram at the very least. Her mahram should be there.
Not necessarily the wali, but a mahram.
No, not necessarily the wali, but the mahram.
So
But
mahram-
question I want to ask here is
So
sometimes
wait,
girls
pause.
have got mahrams, but the mahram is their 10-year-old brother. What do they do in that situation?
No, but you said mahram, right?
Yeah.
Hammam is a mahram, so can it be with a hammam?
No. Hammam's not mahram, bro.
A mahram.
Mahram is only the males.
Or mahram is only a male?
Yeah.
Okay. Because a lot of women say that, innit? Can my mom
Be
be
my
mahram for
yeah,
umrah?
yeah.
Or can my mom be my
No,
mahram
no, no,
for
no,
marriage
no.
meeting?
They actually say that.
They do, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
wrong.
So, okay, I actually never knew that. That mahram is, when you say the word mahram, it's only talking about
Only
men.
parent to the
Yeah.
men.
Women,
It's
a
ma'ruf,
woman
you can't
can
marry
never
the
be.
woman. It's haram. It's
No, of course
haram
not.
to marry the
No, I
woman.
know, but that's what I'm saying. Therefore, isn't she a mahram then? Because it's haram to marry her.
Maybe lughatan,
Every
like
woman
in
is a
shar'an,
mahram.
That's not what
Yeah,
the
no,
term's
yeah,
used
yeah.
for.
Okay, but shar'an, they're not included in
Male,
mahram.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
Generally. Yeah.
Okay. I knew obviously in terms of certain rulings they're not included.
Then the
Like
dog's
umrah and
mahram
this,
for you as
that.
well, and the cat's mahram for you as well.
That's
Even in
true.
this day and age, you might have to specify it, man.
So No, but-
that's dark humor there.
yeah. What's the question?
Recently, they opened up a brothel in Denmark for dogs. You know that, right?
A'udhu billah.
I don't know how did you find out this information, bro?
You know what's,
I'm pretty sure you sent me that article 3 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Never.
Yeah.
That's what
Never.
God.
No, I was gonna say.
Atahaddak, I challenge you to pull out any chat. I've got a chat for the last 3 years. I
that's
can give
a
it to you.
challenge I want
Go
me to
through
bring
it.
up because I changed my
I would
number like 10
never.
times. But anyway, go on, start the story.
No, I was gonna say it's funny because every time you mention this issue of like Denmark and was it brothel?
Brothel,
Dog brothel,
yeah.
yeah. Whoever he's talking to, he says you sent it to me.
No. You've mentioned it so many times over the last couple of years, and you would say it recently came out. It's like 3 years.
See, that's
from
what I
now.
mean. This is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, recent is Nisbi then, isn't it? I mean,
That's just funny
Muhammad
every
Abdul Wahab, rahimahullah, is recent if you compare it to the Sahaba, right?
Urf.
Let's move on. Anyway, so yeah, okay, cool. So what are the things that need to be in place for a marriage meeting to be not haram? In other words, halal. What are the paradigms?
So
what are
before the
constructs?
looking.
Before you even start looking, what's the environment in which you need to be looking?
Okay, so the first thing that we need to be not present is khalwa.
So
Khalwa.
khalwa
Khalwa
has
is
to
halal.
be
Like, Sheikh, even
not
before-
present.
Like, Sheikh,
Yeah,
even
they
even
can be
even
only
before
khalwa.
Afwan, Sheikh, even before that, it needs to be in a state of khitbah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't have
of
marriage meetings with women that you don't have khitbah with, right?
What's khitbah? Isn't that what the imam does on Fridays?
No, that's khutbah.
Oh,
course. Yeah.
obviously I knew that.
Khitbah.
But I'm just playing the audience.
Yeah.
So what? Can you explain what khitbah is?
That person's actually interested in marrying that person.
Oh, people know I'm not dumb. I do this on purpose. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry to cut you.
because the whole mahram issue.
The what issue?
The mahram issue.
Oh, mahram. Oh, okay. No, people know I'm the not devil's advocate. Astaghfirullah. No one wants to be advocate of shaitan. But as in, I play the role that the
Yeah.
audience playing. They might be thinking, what does that mean? What's this? So if
Sah.
whenever you mention Arabic, I'm gonna try and get you to clarify. I might do it by a joke.
It's
You
good,
know,
it's good.
khutbah,
So the
khitbah.
khitbah is the stage where you're interested in, or you have approached that family for the nikah. But the
Yeah.
point is not necessarily the khitbah. It's at the point where you are, you have a aqd jazim, which is you have a firm resolve to propose to that person.
So you can't just be going and having marriage meetings with random sisters,
And
sitting
looking
down
at
with
pictures of
them.
random sisters, say, I want to marry her.
Yeah, and telling
Can't
them,
do
listen,
that.
sister, please, I want to see what your face looks like. I want to see
Yeah.
what your neck looks like. I want to see what your feet looks like. Some brothers got that
Yeah.
feet stuff. So
Yeah.
the point is that you can't because then that would just open the door to a lot of fitna and fasad. So
Exactly.
you actually have to have a real, I'm gonna marry this girl.
Yeah, you have a no.
Are there
you
any
want to-
principles?
yeah, I would like to
are there any
I would like to.
principles that someone can use to know whether or not they're in khitbah? As in, like, what is?
No,
how do you
that's
know
not
you're in
khitbah.
khitbah?
It's
You know,
not khitbah,
but
that's
no,
the
but
thing,
generally,
it's not khitbah.
but khitbah is the safest thing though.
It's not khitbah.
Khitbah
Khitbah
would
safer.
be-
That's the latest. That's the latest
No,
stage.
khitbah is when you've gone to the dad and you're interested in
Yeah,
her.
you've told them I want to marry him.
But you don't have to have that at the time of
You
marriage
don't have
meeting.
to have that
So what do you need to
necessarily.
have? Because he said
What
you
you
need to
have
have
to
khitbah.
have is you have to have the firm resolve that you're interested in marrying. You're not just looking, saying like looking at random woman on the street. I might marry her. Like for example, I'm walking on the street. I'm looking down. My brother says, "Lower your gaze." There's a sister there. I said, "I might marry her." No, you're not marry her.
Okay, I see.
You get
As in,
it?
you have to have the intention. Like,
Yeah,
as
the
in,
intention. I want to marry this.
I know.
this-
I know one brother that said once he was like, you know,
I'm looking to get married.
because I'm looking to get married.
I don't need
I
to know
don't
my
need
gaze.
to lower my gaze. So I walk on the streets, just looking at everybody.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the khalwa.
Yeah.
Khalwa, which is basically you can't be alone with the woman. You can't be alone with the woman. So that environment, you can't be alone. And what khalwa is when there is no one that can see you, or the dabit for khalwa is, the principle of khalwa is, no one can see you and no one can hear you.
No
if
one
I'm
can
on-
see you.
So hearing and seeing, this is very, very important now.
These two.
Hearing and seeing are very important.
And obviously, Allah is excluded from that
Hearing, yeah, of course. Hearing or seeing.
because He's always
Hearing or seeing.
Say that
hearing
again?
and seeing.
Hearing or seeing.
So you're
So it's
saying
not
you can
and.
see, but you
No,
can't
or.
hear. But isn't that a bit problematic?
No, because
From the angle
in that
that-
case it's not khalwa. In that case it's not
It's not
khalwa.
khalwa,
In that
okay.
case it's not khalwa. But that what takes out khalwa? What makes something not khalwa is if someone can see or if someone can hear. So if someone's on the other side of the room, they can't hear what you're saying, but they can see you, then it's not khalwa necessarily.
But he could
But
be
I'm not
saying
saying
madness to the girl.
Exactly, I'm not saying it's
But
halal
that's-
necessarily in that case
yeah.
also. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But
But
there
about
should
khalwa.
be no khalwa.
That might be ikhtilat. I don't know.
Yeah, there will be ikhtilat and there'll be other things.
Yeah.
But
What's
khalwa
what does
is
ikhtilat
haram.
mean?
What's
Free
ikhtilat?
mixing. Free mixing.
Free mixing.
But khalwa
Free
is
mixing.
haram in and of itself.
That's
You get it? See the difference?
free mixing.
Khalwa is never allowed.
Okay.
Even if a haja, it's not allowed. Even if a marriage meeting or in any situation, even a doctor, not allowed. Unless it's darura, of course, different. But in necessity, where there's no other situation. But khalwa is never allowed because it's haram in and of itself. You get it? That's why I mentioned it here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Khalwa haram, but isn't it haram because of what it's going to lead to?
No, khalwa is haram in and of itself.
What's the delil for that?
The hadith, the shaitan is the third one. That shows that it's haram in and of itself. There's no لا يخلو الرجل بالمرأة إلا والشيطان ثالثهما أو كما قال صلى
So
الله
it's
عليه
not
وسلم.
haram li ghayri.
No, it's haram in and of itself. Obviously it would be because it leads to other things, but certain things like touching a woman
Yeah.
is haram in and of itself, even though it can be haram because it might lead to something else. What is haram for other than the reasons? How do we get if something is haram for بغيره, for something else? Is if there's certain situations where it will be allowed, like lowering the gaze. You've been told in and of itself to not do it.
But isn't touching allowed for a doctor touching them?
Yeah, but that's
patient?
darura. Only in darura.
But that's not darura
It is
necessarily.
darura. They might die.
Because she could find a female doctor.
No, if she can, then she has to go to a female doctor.
Oh, mad. I didn't
You get
know
it?
that. Okay, I'll have a question for you.
Well,
Can
I-
another woman remove khalwa from a man and a woman?
That's a good question. They speak about it and they say, another woman doesn't remove khalwa. My Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Shuwair mentioned this masala and I forgot the way he said yes or no, I can't remember.
So number one is that there can't be any
Khalwa.
khalwa. Number two, you have to have a firm resolve and have the ability to get married, right?
Yeah.
As in, if you're, you don't have a job, you know for a fact you're not going to end up getting married anytime soon. You can't go around looking at sisters
Therefore, because you don't have firm resolve.
because you know that you're not going to be able
So
to get married.
there's a difference between wanting to get married and actually having a firm resolve to get married.
So yeah, it's not just the
Yeah.
case that I want to get married. You might want to get married, but
need
you
to.
know you won't be able to get married.
To that, yeah. Or for example, it's the princess of a king. So I want to marry her. You're never going to get to marry her. You get it? The princess of a king. Does that make sense? The daughter of a king.
Daughter, so yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
That one. No, so it's like that's what you meant when that's similar to what you just brought.
But isn't it just like, bro, like if it's written, isn't it? If it's written for me to marry a princess, and man's got a
Yeah, but
princess,
then-
innit?
If you have firm resolve and you're able to, you said ability, right? Ability. What it means by ability is that not necessarily money.
Yeah.
Well, you can be broke and still get married.
Yeah,
You can be broke and still get married. But ability meaning you have firm
it's
resolve.
able to happen.
Basically,
There
you
aren't
have-
obstacles that are going to stop you from getting married.
No,
whatever the
that's
obstacle might
basically
be.
a firm resolve. I'm going to get married to this person. Not I need to get married, man. I really need it. So
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna look around. No, I want to get married to this person.
Meaning, if you are happy
Even
and
if-
she was happy, you can go
You
to
can
the
get
next
married,
stage.
yeah.
You can get married the next day, basically. Maybe not the next day, but as in within a reasonable amount of time. It's not gonna be like, oh yeah, 5 years down the line, I'm
I
getting
think it's
married.
just better to leave it as I have a firm resolve to
Okay,
get married to this
I
person.
can tell you really don't want to move away from that. Let's leave it at that.
You know
inshallah.
why?
And
You
I
know why?
agree because
Because then it opens doors to things that
I
might
agree.
might enter, might not enter. But if you have a firm resolve to get married, if I say firm resolve to get married,
Yeah.
that disqualifies
Okay,
so many things already.
But one sec,
I'm with you.
What you just mentioned,
what
like,
about this situation? Yeah, because this happens a lot. Like a guy knows that the dad of this girl is not gonna let this girl get married to anyone other than his ethnicity.
Yeah, that's it.
But he says, "I've got a firm resolve to marry her. Can I look at her?"
No, you have no ability.
He
So
knows
that-
that the dad is not going to let him marry.
One sec. But so would that come under the princess issue and the king issue?
Yeah, because you have no ability in that.
Because that happens to a lot. A lot of brothers are, "Wallahi, I'm gonna marry this girl, inshallah." But he knows that the dad
It's never
It's
gonna allow
not-
it.
is not allowing it right now.
But what about situations where that's happened, and then after back, the dad's finding, you know, I could marry her.
No, but how much haram had to happen in that relationship before
A lot of times
that happens?
Uh,
that relationship? How much zina have they already done? How much time have they linked? And
No, but then what about for reverts? Because obviously, maybe not most, but
so if there's a dad that doesn't
a
allow his
lot of fathers from many different cultures
They won't
have
accept a
issues.
revert.
They won't accept a revert.
but a lot will.
But the
But a lot
revert,
Yeah,
no,
a lot
I'm
will.
saying
But a
more won't.
Say again? But it's still a lot.
Inshallah, they all.
So basically, okay, so you're saying that if, like, for example, if a revert goes for someone for marriage and their dad or parents like straight away like, no, there's no way you're marrying her, we're saying they just kind of just leave it and just move on.
Yeah, because it's
He moves on.
I remember one advice that one Viva brother, there's a good friend of ours. Yeah,
It's kind of
he
peaked
got-
on, no?
No, look at the advice that one brother gave to one Reebok brother because he was struggling, he wanted to marry, for example, a girl from a particular ethnicity, and the parents would not allow him to marry her. Yeah, and of course that's ignorant. They should, just to stop based on a person's ethnicity or race. But he was having that struggle, really wanted to marry her. The brother said, he said, go where you are celebrated, don't go where you're tolerated.
So.
And that's powerful, man.
Well,
He's happily married right now with like 4 kids, Allah barik, 3 kids.
Go where you're celebrated.
Not where you're tolerated. Like, don't just if they don't accept you, like, don't belittle yourself for them, because there are many that will look at you and think, you know what, I appreciate this brother or sister, regardless whether they're Reva or not.
I need a new podcast, the host fam, somewhere where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. I'm joking. It's a joke. See, this is what I mean. That no one's laughing.
No,
I'm just being tolerated right now. I need to be celebrated. He laughed.
No,
Me and you need to start our own
shall I tell
podcast, bro.
Shall I tell you what? I'm
Shy with my.
no.
How'd you say?
No, you know what I was pondering.
We say shy as well.
How you say brother in Somali?
I
Abo.
don't speak Somali like that, but walal. But
Walal.
yeah, that's
Shy with my
something like
walal.
that. Now someone's gonna laugh at me now, man. I don't know Somali.
Listen.
Oh yeah, you're not even Somali. I don't know why you're not Somali.
I was just pondering at the fact that I was just deep in. You don't ever seem this happy on a podcast when Yasin's not here. It's just the
Wow.
Actually makes me happy.
you actually seem jolly today.
And I
like.
Oh no!
usually that-
Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Inshallah.
So okay, so cool. So that's, you have to have the ability. You have to have a firm resolve to get married.
No khalwa.
No khalwa. What else?
So you're there, and you want to meet. What can you see? What can you look at?
Here's a question: in what environment could you meet as well? Because a lot of the times you find there's a lot of people when they want to meet a sister for marriage, they'll
Costa.
probably go Costa, Nando's, sit down, eat food.
You know
And
the
then when
problem
you
there is that when there's no mahram. If there's mahram, it's fine. That's fine. Fine generally, but no, it would be. It depends. It depends how they're doing
Can I
it.
ask you a question?
And to be honest,
I
those
re-
situations are not good.
I really want to know, does
It happens a lot.
a 10-year-old boy suffice as a man?
No, it doesn't. If he's not the age of puberty, the puberty, right? Age of puberty.
But what if they say he's mumayyiz, he can differentiate between right and wrong, and
Oh yeah, that's
so then a 7-year-old who's mumayyiz?
What kind of 1-year-old?
No,
Let's
you
go back to that, inshallah.
have to look into that.
We'll look into that, inshallah.
Okay. But definitely the minimum is puberty.
No, you said mumayyiz, maybe it's tamiz.
No, but I'm saying the minimum safe.
Yeah,
for
safe,
them
of
right
course.
now.
Yeah, it should be the age of puberty
And puberty is when,
And
when the signs come.
balls start growing.
which is what?
I have
What's
an
the
age of
darbits for
15
puberty in the shit? It's 15 or
15
wet,
lunar years.
or wet dream.
lunar years, or wet dream, or pubic
Oh man,
hair,
lunar
according to
years. Oh
Hanabi.
yeah, lunar years.
Shorter.
So isn't that going to be an awkward conversation for a sister who wants to go to a marriage meeting, and her brother, she just like, have you hit puberty yet, bro?
I'm sure you can see normally.
Yeah, you can probably tell, innit?
You
Like,
can tell, innit?
So then, do you have to have one, or yaqeen that he's hit puberty?
Ooh.
Yaqeen, innit? Why would you have done? And
I'm
first,
saying
first of all, wait. We
So,
have to
and
make-
then-
In
she
order
asked
for
him-
you to be,
And then she asked him, "Hey, baby,
For
bro,
me-
had a
no.
wet dream."
for
dream.
for us
15.
to agree, first of all, there's two things.
say baby.
غلبة الظن.
Like, is her baby bro, innit?
Oh, baby, bro.
Yeah.
I was say, hey, baby.
For us-
Like,
No,
oh,
hey,
have you had
baby,
a-
bro. Like, as in, have you had a wet dream? Do you have pubic hair? She's not gonna ask him that.
That's so wrong.
First of all, does he have to be at the age of puberty? We said we're going to look into that. Second of all, غلبة الظن takes the ruling of yaqeen, right?
Ah, yes. Oh, wait, in fiqh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, what is غلبة الظن?
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause
Overwhelming.
we're not Ash'aris.
Yeah.
So what is غلبة الظن?
Speculation.
Oh.
Sounds fancy
Overwhelming
words. We need to know the meaning.
ظن.
High,
Overwhelming speculation.
overwhelming speculation.
Like, as in,
Yeah.
you're not certain, but you're very, very, very sure.
That's the majority of issues of fiqh anyway.
What, like, if you could quantify it in a percentage?
75.
Yeah.
Oh,
75
above
and
50,
above,
sorry.
same.
Above 50.
About 50? In a 51%? That's
That's
Isn't
the
that what
one.
happened?
That's
Isn't
the
it
one,
one?
sorry.
Because you
Yeah,
got shak.
75.
Yeah, so it's approximately
75%.
75.
Yeah.
One.
okay. What else? Okay, so let's say for argument's sake, you're in an environment like, you know, you're in a restaurant, like, but then you're using
At
Nando's.
home, at
Nando's
home.
have music,
Forget
alcohol.
about restaurant. At home.
Okay, let's
I
talk
like
about at home. Let's come back to at home, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why not home? Yeah.
we
You only
established
want to
that
do it in a
mahram-
restaurant if you're doing something boots.
Yeah.
mahram has to be there, yeah?
So that's not allowed,
Mahram should
right?
be
Say
there,
again?
yes.
So that's not
I'm
allowed.
not gonna say it's not allowed, but I'm saying if you're gonna meet the girl, why would
'Cause
you not
I-
meet in the house?
Wouldn't that come under
Unless you're marrying a
law?
girl whose dad doesn't know
Sitting
she's looking to
down,
get
eating
married, he's
together,
not gonna marry
talking.
her off. There's
No, what if the
problems
dad
there.
says himself, you know what, let's meet in a cafe.
Oh yeah, that's different.
Like
As long as the
looking.
dad's, as long as the
Come on,
mahram's
look at
there.
her,
That's what we're saying.
You don't need. There's no need to eat or drink.
Yeah, that's
They
fast.
really
Then you're,
should
then you're kind of socializing, innit? You're kind of just chilling, like.
You do it at home. So I'm saying
So-
that restaurant stuff.
Okay, so
Okay, but what at
people
home
should-
though? Are you allowed to
okay.
eat at home if she comes and cooks like I've got some
Yeah,
pastries
why
for you,
not?
honey?
That's a lot of cultures that do that, right? And it's not. But
So
it's
what's the
like-
difference between that and a restaurant? What's the issue between eating then?
Yeah, I don't
No, I don't think
it's
the
kind
issue
of
is.
eating.
I don't think the issue is with eating. That's not the issue here.
That's
the issue
that's
too.
what
Generally
you just
speaking, in a marriage
I
meeting,
asked the
right?
question.
You
said.
can
Oh, he
do
asked the
what-
question. He's asking the
in
question.
a marriage meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong. What you could do is based on urf, like what's normal customs, that customs of the people. If they're gonna eat, talk, this, that, they're allowed to do that as long as the
Allowed to
mahram's
talk,
there.
Of course, you'll have to talk.
I'm saying the restaurant is just not a very good environment. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
He's talking about personal preferences.
I'm talking about rulings.
No.
I was talking
Rulings or
about-
preferences?
No,
That
I
was a preference.
Yeah, that was a preference. I was like, it's not something that's necessarily the best way to do it because of the things that come under it.
Like what? Give me an example. I can't think of anything.
Like for
Things
example,
that
if
come
she's a niqabi sister,
Yeah.
then she's gonna find it awkward having to eat in a restaurant and be comfortable chatting to you.
Okay, let's say she's not a niqabi sister.
You know, can I tell you something? It's a thing about some women, yeah.
We're not saying it's haram, by the way.
But yeah, no, just an advice. You know, there's something that I've noticed with a lot of 21st century girls. It's new.
They like to eat.
No, it's
No, I say like going out eating. It's a thing now,
it's
innit?
new,
It's like
it's
some
unstra- in this world, in this day and age of insecurity, where insecurity is at an all-time high and people are insecure about everything. I notice now that a lot of sisters feel insecure about eating in front of men. Eating in front of people. As in, she's at a marriage meeting, she doesn't want, I don't know why, I don't know what.
Is that just 21st century? thing?
It never used to be the case when I was young, but these girls nowadays, it's like they feel very uncomfortable eating in front of the guys. And
That sounds good.
say that again?
That sounds good.
You're talking from your subjective
Yeah.
perspective, my brother. Generally speaking, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just that
Yeah.
girls do not like it. They just don't like it, and it's just like, just make her feel comfortable. Meet her in the yard.
Oh, so that's what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or if you're gonna go out somewhere, of course the wedding mahram's there. The safest option is where there's drinks, halal drinks, of course.
Whoa, okay.
Wow, you said that.
Halal drinks. Because
The point is that you just meet and walking. Yani, it's just an environment where there's no khalwa and the mahram.
There's no haram as well. There's no
And no
music.
haram,
There's no alcohol.
Things like that.
that's ma'ruf.
Okay, calm.
I think we can move on now.
How long is there any particular time where it's like, okay, I'm having a marriage meeting with her, I've asked her these questions. At what point now is it no longer appropriate for me to be in that meeting? Is there something like that, or is it just like I'm talking to her? You know what? We click. You know what? We're gonna get married. But you know what? Your dad said until 4. We got another hour. Let's just carry on talking. Is that allowed? Or like, what's the? Obviously, it's difficult to know exactly. Like,
You're
so-
telling me that, and the mahram's there the whole time.
the man the whole time. So I'm saying, are you? And okay, once you've, so we'll come to that after. First, answer this one.
Yeah, I don't want any time limit to that. I don't know. Any
So even if, do you know what I mean? You've now decided, yes, you know what? I'm going to marry her. She's decided, yes. You both said to each other, yes. Are you then allowed to, number one, carry on that marriage meeting, and number two, arrange more meetings where now it's not about getting to know each other. Should we marry each other or not? It's we're going to get married. But I just want to,
Meeting.
just get to know you before we actually sign the contract, before we move in
And the
together.
whole time the
That's all
mahram's there
part
every
of
The
it.
time.
whole time the
But all
mahram
of
will
that
be
is
there.
part of
What's wrong with
meeting.
that?
All of that is part
What's
of
wrong with
meeting.
Okay, that's calm, yeah.
So
Just to clarify.
basically, you're asking, can I be social with her at the marriage meeting?
No, what I'm asking is if the maqsad of the marriage meeting is to know whether or not there's something in her or you're going to see her that's going to make you want to marry her. Once you decided, I want to marry her, is the maqsad, is the objective,
No longer there.
has it's been
So what are you
completed.
going to meet again for then?
To, like,
Enjoy, basically.
enjoy, like,
That's what you can say. You can say, I'm
I'm allowed to enjoy her,
enjoy her company.
in the company of her wali. He can see, maybe he can't hear. He can hear,
Yeah,
maybe he
yeah.
can't see. And we're just,
Just enjoy.
No. One second.
Enjoying.
No one's. He has to be able to hear her. Otherwise, that's free mixing.
no, he said, oh.
No, as in for khalwa.
Yeah, for khalwa.
No, but he has to. So it might not be khalwa, but it's still haram. He has to be able to hear and see.
Okay, so he does have to be able to see.
Wait, as in they might see something haram.
Yeah, of course. Nowadays, when you tell me the dad's seeing, he can't hear, and he's there saying, "Listen, yo,
Definitely safer.
here's my
definitely
private
safer.
number."
So it's safer.
Of
Definitely
course.
safer, yeah.
Okay.
I thought you said it's haram if they don't have the.
If you can't hear her, that's free mixing.
So that would
It's
be
haram, yeah?
I didn't say it's haram. I'm just saying it's definitely safer.
He doesn't believe that.
I didn't say I don't believe that.
What do you believe? Tell us what you
I
believe.
don't
in.
know. I don't know. I'm just saying it's definitely safer. I don't know. I'm not gonna. If he made the ruling, he made the ruling. It's
I'm not
on
making
him.
no ruling.
You're not making no rulings. You are
I'm not
making
making
a
a ruling.
ruling.
I'm passing what Ustad Abdurrahman said.
Khalas, exactly. It's definitely safer. Yeah.
Yeah, safer. Okay, cool.
I'm not saying it's not. I don't, I
So
don't
okay,
know.
so
In
going
fact, now
back
I'm
to
having shock. Did
okay,
Ustad say that?
so because we said about khalwa, that it doesn't have to be there.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
cool.
is,
So before we said khalwa, you can't be khalwa, but we said that if they can hear or see,
Then it's not
khalwa is no
khalwa.
longer there.
Yeah.
But
But
it
now,
can be
but
free
now what we're
mixing,
saying though, now what we're saying though
It's
is that
definitely gonna be free mixing anyway.
Say that again?
It's always free mixing, even if you're mahram. or
the
not.
marriage meeting is free mixing.
I know, but it's allowed free mixing, right?
Yeah. So
So is it now haram free mixing?
Huh?
What?
Would it be haram if the mahram can't hear? He can't
No,
hear.
but what we're saying is the free mixing is already happening. Whether
Free
he
mixing
hears
is
or
allowed
not,
in
it is
situation.
considered free mixing
But
because
it's
it's just
allowed in
mixing.
that situation. The free
Alright,
mixing
is
is
that
allowed.
actually
Yeah.
considered free mixing?
The same way backbiting is allowed when you're
That's
refuting
considered to
someone.
be free mixing.
Yeah, it's allowed.
Well,
though.
yeah, as in
Of
if
course,
there's a woman with her mahram and
It's
another
like
woman
when you
with her
refute
mahram.
someone, are you not backbiting them? But you're allowed in that situation
No,
to
no,
backbite.
Yeah, so if you're allowed to free mix in that situation, then wouldn't all the aspects of free mixing be like?
No,
No.
because
No, that's mad.
الضرورة بقدرها.
Yeah.
You go to the need.
No,
of
like
the
obviously not
necessity.
as in I'm not touching on that. I'm just talking about from
But
the
you
angle of like
you said all
the
of it.
conditions.
Yeah, of course. No, of
The
course.
conditions
no,
of free
no,
mixing.
he's right. You can open that door of touching her then.
No, but things. No,
But
okay,
you can't-
okay.
you can't touch no
Let me
woman
rephrase.
to
What I
marry.
mean is that things that make free mixing, like for example, no one's there to hear. But wait, even if the guy can hear, it's still free mixing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Keep it according to the need.
That's what he said. According to the need.
But what if?
Is there a need? There is a need for you to mix with this girl in order to marry her, right? But
Yes.
does that need now extend to the point where you need to mix with her to the extent where the mahram cannot hear her
When
anymore?
we say mix with her, it
Free
just
mix.
sounds
So okay, so
Speak to her.
Okay, so are we saying going back to the conditions that we said of the marriage meeting? So are we now saying that the wali has to be able to hear what's being said in the conversation?
I didn't say that.
But that's what you're saying.
I'm not placing a passing hukum. I know
We're
I said
gonna-
earlier
we're
it's
gonna
haram.
edit that out.
I'm taking back
We're
the
But if
word
you're gonna
haram.
say it with your chest, brother.
We're gonna edit it out.
No, because now I'm having shak to start say. I don't want to misquote it. But the point of the matter is that I'm saying is
Definitely safer.
we know a principle,
Okay.
which is that the darura, the necessity, the need, is based on you do that which is haram. Look, for you to mix free mix with a woman is haram.
Yes.
Okay, it became permissible for you because of a need. The need is marriage.
Which is what my original question was.
Let me finish my point. I'm saying now the need is you only do the haram based on the
haram.
need.
Yeah, sounds.
No, the thing that is haram only became halal for you based on the need.
Yeah.
So if you go above and beyond the need,
Which is what my question is.
Are you
Is
not feeling
once
it's
you
haram now?
fulfill the need of yes, I want to marry this girl, can you
Can
then
you sit
continue
and
to have
enjoy it?
meetings with
That's
her?
a good
Because
question.
it's still free mixing. Because even the Wali's sitting right next to you, the Wali's here, I'm here, she's sitting there. I know I'm marrying her. She knows we're marrying her. We've set a date, but we're still like, yeah, let's have marriage meetings.
that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to that.
As in, you're telling me you've set a date,
Like anything. Like once you know, at any point after you decided, yes, I'm marrying you. Yes, we're marrying each other. It's agreed upon.
Okay, I don't know about
Are
that.
you then allowed to continue having marriage
I
meetings?
don't know about that, but I think generally what question that more people will have, and which I think he maybe thought you were saying, and I also thought you were saying at the beginning, was that you haven't actually set the dates, you haven't confirmed you're going to marry this girl. Up until that point, I don't think the Sharia never set a limit of how many marriage meetings you can have or you can't have or how long the marriage meeting can be.
Yeah,
Does that make
that's
sense?
not what I asked,
Yeah, but now I'm clocking. He's asked something different.
Yeah.
But let's just say you haven't had a resolve.
Sorry, what did you think I asked before?
That you've agreed already. You're already definitely gonna marry each other.
No, you're not
And you're
gonna.
just sitting down just to enjoy each company.
That is what I
Yeah,
asked.
that's what it was.
Yeah, but
No,
okay,
but okay, he
I'm
answered
not answering
something
that. I'm
else.
saying as for that, Allah,
He
Alam, I
answered
don't
something
know.
else.
Unless you have an answer.
What
for
did
that.
you think I asked?
That you haven't made a decision whether you want to marry her. You might think, yeah, I'd like to marry her, but until you make the clear-cut decision, there's no restriction on how many meetings you're allowed to have.
Okay, no, that's not what I was asking.
You can have 100,
Yeah, no, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
and they can be 20 hours long. I'm not saying that they should be or
Yeah.
it's recommended to be. I'm just saying as in it will be down to urf then, isn't it?
Yeah, go down.
It'll be down to
It's
custom.
not even urf, it's just down to your personal.
And the customs
Until
of-
you come to the decision, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
marry her.
Yeah.
Okay, calm.
You talk about something else.
As in, like, completely different to marriage.
No, on this issue.
On this issue.
Yeah.
Wali.
No, we spoke
What
about.
can you look at?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, come to that.
That's quite important.
That's what. Yeah.
Tell
What
us,
can you look
brother.
at?
Am I allowed to just sit there like
Not just that. Not just that.
staring at her the whole time, or
No,
does it have to be one of them?
No,
ones
not
just
just that. Not just that. First, second stages. What's the point at which you can look at her? Can you look at her in the first meeting?
So we discussed that. Remember when you made a firm resolve to
Then
that
you
you're
can look at
interested
her.
in her, you can look at her in that case. What can you look at? So the majority of the scholars they say what you can look at is just the face and the hands.
Face
That's
and the hands.
majority of the scholars, yeah. Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed. That's the two.
Not even the hair.
Wait, so
No.
is that what she's allowed to display, or is that what you're? Because if she's
You're
wearing a
allowed to look
jilbab,
at
am I
and
still
she's
allowed
allowed
to
to-
look
One
at
second,
the other
one
parts,
second,
but they're not
what
on
you're allowed to
display?
look
One second, what are they?
What
What
you
are
have
they?
to look at.
No, but what's
So
that?
I'm only look at her hands and her
And her
face. Even if
face.
the rest is covered, I can't even
Yeah.
look in that
No,
like,
but,
direction.
no,
Yeah.
but what dalil restricts that though? Because the Prophet left it never specified what
Sallallahu
body
alaihi
part is going to
wasallam.
be.
Oh, you're
So that's
asking
the
me. I'm
majority
chef.
of scholars. They
No, I'm
take that
looking at you
opinion.
because if I do this, then the mic won't hear me. I'm speaking.
Oh,
to you,
okay.
That's the opinion of the majority of the scholars.
Yeah,
I
is it
didn't say I
correct?
take that opinion.
Okay.
The other
But there's no
opinion,
dalil that restricts that.
there is,
What's
but
the
it
dalil?
might be weak
Say that again.
What's the dalil?
evidence.
Evidence.
Oh, okay.
There might be. There is. Dalil is not just nas like a hadith, clear cut hadith. Not just that. That can be principle.
It could be a principle, no problem.
Yeah.
What is
The
it?
point is, I'm not. That's what they say. The other opinion, which
Yeah.
is taken by Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah and a lot of the scholars, they take this, especially today,
See her
is
neck,
that you're
her
allowed
hair.
to look at what ما يظهر منها عادة, what is shown normally at home to her other maharim, what is shown normally to her other maharim according to normal people. Some people they're not normal. They show that they wear bikinis in front of their maharim, or they wear bikinis outside.
Maharim is
That's
the
not
plural
normal.
of mahram.
The mahram, yeah.
Yeah.
The family basically. That's not normal. What's normal?
It's what
according
you'd
to
wear at
most
home, like a
cultures,
dressing gown
your
or like
guys, yeah, Pakistani cultures.
The neck
Somali
would be
culture.
seen.
gameesh,
What can
like
be seen is the
shalwar,
hair,
The neck.
the neck.
like a long dress
Yeah,
that
like
kind
a
of
long
covers.
dress. They wear bati.
The
Somalis wear
feet.
bati. You guys
What?
wear bati.
Yeah, cut that out.
I'm gonna cut that out.
No, cut that.
No,
cut
cut
that.
what you said out. What she wears at home normally. So that's generally the hair, the neck area, the arms, and the shin. The
Up
feet.
to the elbow,
Up
not
to
to
the-
not to the shoulder necessarily.
Yeah,
What about the
so
guy? What's he allowed to?
He just has
He
to
might
cover
turn
his
up in a
aura.
vest and like you know, he just
He just
can he
has
come
to
can
cover
he come
his
in a
aura.
vest and
That's
be
not
like
realistic, bro. I don't know no guy that
flex
comes
his
to
arms
marriage
and
in a vest.
There's no aura, yeah. Someone's allowed to go outside. Obviously, it's not necessarily going to be part of good manners, but it's not something that's necessarily haram for her to look at. And for
as long
for
as
it to
it's,
be
so he
shown.
come in shorts, as long as it's like up to his knees
Covering the
covered.
aura has to be covered. That's all has to be covered.
Mad.
So what you can look at is that. That's the two opinions. And the second one of Taymiyyah, that seems to be stronger because it conforms with the principles of the Sharia of what's allowed to be seen. The minimal thing that's allowed to be seen for other than the husband is that from a woman. So the only people, the people who are allowed to see that are her family members.
And other women
And there's no one who's and other women. And there's no one else who's allowed to see less than that.
and cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah, he mentioned it in brothels in Denmark. So I just thought mentioned cats and dogs
Ajib.
are allowed to see. If you've got a cat, you don't need to cover up in front of the cat, do you?
No, take that off. Take that off. Them
That's a good question. Some people they have cats in their bathrooms.
Huh?
No, honestly.
You said that and you looked at him as if like
No,
he's a
just
cat in his
laugh.
bathroom, bro.
No. He just.
Yeah, sometimes I have a shower with my cats in my bathroom. We just chose there.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that, right? Cats are allowed to look
I
at you.
don't know.
Allah,
Right,
that's
I don't know.
cheap. It's
I don't
weird.
know. Anyway, the point is, that's what you're allowed to look at. You're allowed to look at that. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, questions. I was talking to a brother recently, yeah. He's telling me, boom, he's having a marriage meeting with his sister. And obviously, you know, he's attracted to a particular kind of figure, yeah? That, what, like, how tight does the outfit have to be?
What she wears at home normally.
Huh?
What she wears at home normally.
So she
right
doesn't
now-
have to wear an
so right now-
abaya or a jilbab.
What? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She can wear what she wears normally. But what she can't wear is like tights, for example. And she says, I wear that at home normally. No, you can't wear that at home normally. Generally, you shouldn't be wearing that in front of your brothers or your father or your female or male relatives. relatives. Therefore, you're only allowed to wear what shows what you wear at home normally.
Okay.
A modest woman.
Okay, question. What about makeup?
Makeup, not allowed makeup. Makeup's not allowed. Why?
Why is it not
Because
allowed?
The whole reason why you're meeting with this woman is to see if you're attracted to her. Okay? And her wearing makeup is not her. The point of the meeting is not to attract the man. It's not to attract the man. You get the point? The point of the meeting is to see if you are attractive or if he is attracted, sorry.
Yeah, if he's attractive.
If he's attractive.
Because everyone's attractive in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that. I sincerely believe that.
It's true.
I do actually believe that.
I believe that's true.
Sincerely, wallahi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I push
you married
that. I
yet?
push it.
Yeah, it's true, of course.
Wallah, I do. Because a lot of people, they say something. Yeah, anyway, that's a different topic. The point is that you're there to see if you're attracted, not for her to attract you. There's a difference. Because then she'll be wearing makeup if she's trying to attract you. But it's not the point. Because now when you get married, you're going to marry her and you're going to see that you're going to see her without makeup. Are you attracted to that one?
But she's allowed to like
She's allowed to clean herself.
clean herself,
Clean
make her
herself.
hair in a certain way,
Yeah,
you
make her
know,
hair in a certain
whatnot.
way.
Can I just mention something on this topic? Yeah, I know a lot of brothers that go to marriage meetings. Yeah, they come back, they say, yeah, the sister, she was like average, but you know, I'm looking for someone that's a little bit more attractive. Yeah?
But what's he comparing her to?
But that's my point. Yeah, is that I feel like one thing that people need to really become a little bit mature with and understand and come to terms with is that when you go to have a marriage meeting with a practicing woman, at that meeting she's not plastered and caked herself on with layers of foundation and makeup, and she's not done all of this contouring and made her jawline seem like it's something else, and she hasn't basically
You know quite a lot.
photoshopped her face.
Contouring. you
Does
know.
that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So
Disease.
I'm saying she hasn't done all that.
Uh-huh.
So if you're trying to compare her to what you see out in the streets or what you've known in Jahiliyyah, then that's very stupid. Because if those same girls who you see on the streets, which you shouldn't be looking at anyway, you should be lowering your gaze, because that's where a lot of the problem comes from, is the fact that you don't lower your gaze. You look around at women.
Yeah.
When you go into a marriage meeting to want to see a woman,
Yeah.
you know, you're comparing it to these women that have been caked up with so many layers of makeup, yeah? Then you wouldn't have this issue. Does that make sense? Those same women or
But it
those
only
girls
applies-
from Jahiliyyah that you knew, if we was to hose their face down and all that makeup would come off, you'd see that they would look probably average as well. In fact, some of them might even look below average, because you do not know the levels of deception that can take place.
But that only would
Below
apply.
average to you.
That only applies
Below
if
average
you.
to you.
Yeah, below average too, yeah.
But I think that only applies if you're someone who finds makeup to be attractive. Some people just don't find makeup to be
Say that
attractive.
again? I think the majority
Yeah.
of people find makeup to be
I don't.
attractive.
I don't.
I know. I think it's a North London issue, but I think most people, yeah. Let's no, to each their
I don't
own.
think
If
it's
you
an
don't, if you don't find makeup to be attractive, it's you. But let's not push this like it's the norm.
No, but I don't think it's. You're saying overwhelming majority of people do find makeup
Overwhelming
attractive.
majority of guys they do, because that's why they have such an issue when it comes to these marriage meetings. Is because they've seen these women that look so beautiful
I
to
find
them.
it disgusting.
Me too.
No
No
offense.
paint.
No.
It's like paint on your face.
Yeah, no problem. But I'm saying most people put on their fitrah, innit?
That's not fitra. Fitra is natural.
We're saying
No,
fitra
I'm
is
saying-
defined attractive,
No, I'm saying
caked up faces.
I think people closer to their fitrah would find women who are less caked up to be attractive.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the more far away you are from your fitrah,
Yeah.
it just seems that, for example, the other
Okay, I
day.
thought you tried to say that.
No.
Find a makeup.
What-
Yeah.
what's the
it's-
fitra?
I- I-
No,
I-
no.
Okay, we're close to the fitra.
No, I'm saying sometimes you see a woman, the way she's got makeup on, like, well, it looks scary. It's like, bruv, this is not a Krusty the Clown commercial.
Generally, personally, I
Are
think.
you
Okay,
all
anyway,
right?
this is not about.
So the
what
point
we
is,
believe.
it's not about makeup right now. Let's say the
No,
problem
I
here,
get-
the problem here is the brothers who are looking around
Yeah.
and then they're putting their expectations up because
Yeah.
they're looking around. And if we look at the ayah in the Quran, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُم ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُم. Allah says that's pure for you, right?
So can you explain the ayah, please?
So it says-
Some of us don't
say to
understand
the
Arabic.
believers, say to the believers to lower their gaze
Mhm.
and to protect their private parts. That is purer for them in their hearts. And if you look at the same surah, Allah mentions the ayah of surah of Nur, which is talking about the light in the heart. So the same surah that's talking about lowering the gaze talks about the lights of the heart. And that's so profound, because when you look at a person who doesn't lower his gaze, and Ibn Qayyim mentions this, that his heart becomes it becomes covered with darkness. This darkness doesn't allow a person to see the beauty in a proper way. It doesn't
Subhanallah.
allow him to do that.
So
Because
you might be looking at actually a really beautiful sister.
But you won't see the beauty
But you
for
won't
you,
see
because your
beauty
heart's
is evil.
corrupted.
You know, hatta in
Oh,
the
wow.
hadith, look at the hadith of the heart, yeah?
But
In Sahih Muslim. That's one hadith, but I'm talking about this one. Hatta until the heart becomes two different hearts, right? sinful heart and a different and a dark heart. So it says حتى يكون أبيض كالصفا, or it says, and the other one says يكون like كالكوز, is like the upside down cup. No light can come inside it, right? The cup is upside down. So he said لا يعرف معروفا ولا ينكر منكرا. He doesn't know good and he doesn't know evil. He doesn't know good and he doesn't hate evil.
So he might actually be looking at a beautiful girl, she looks evil to him.
And yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's quite deep.
So that heart that you're carrying, because you're looking at things, is really the reason why you can't find anyone attractive, is because what you looked at is all disgusting stuff, and that's what's good to you is disgusting.
Oh wow.
And look at this, yeah.
Wow.
It's true. You know why that's so.
Hold on, please. It's my head.
He's on a roll, man.
Yeah,
He's hitting us with him, bro.
This jahiliyyah. When a person, some people say, but no, it was from jahiliyyah. I say to you, brother, you need to clean that jahiliyyah off you.
Yeah.
You still got the jahiliyyah in your heart. You need to clean that. That's it's not because I went through jahiliyyah, therefore I'm gonna always have the standard of women have to be like look like this. La, when you clean your heart, you're gonna go back to the original fitrah, and you're gonna be like a newborn baby.
Well, that's
in your
true.
heart. And it's true. You can't make the excuse
Because
of jahiliyyah.
I'll be honest with you, I agree with the point that you make about makeup making people look unattractive. It's true. It looks scary. Like sometimes it actually looks extremely scary. Like how sometimes clowns used to look.
So.
You know, back in the day, when you see a clown at a party.
But you're saying sometimes. I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about. It gets to
Everything.
the extent where men will find that so attractive.
Oh, as in you're saying they'll find the clown face attractive.
No, I'm saying, wallahi, this woman would have been not the woman that I'm not actually pointing at physical
I'm
woman.
scared for a
but-
second off. Roll. Someone's standing there
I'm
like.
saying the way certain women dress right now would have been like the way they put makeup on right now. That would have been a scary face at a Halloween party. Not that we celebrate Halloween, but that would have been a scary face at a Halloween party when I was in primary school.
You went to Halloween parties in primary school.
I didn't. I'm just making a point here.
Oh, okay.
Just forget whether
It's
I
okay
went
if
or
you did. You're in primary school. You weren't.
not.
It's still
It's
not okay.
haram.
It's still not
It's
okay.
haram. It's wrong.
No. As in you're not accountable for it, right?
That's still not okay.
My
You were
school didn't
below
hold any Halloween parties. I'm just making a point.
Anyway, next point.
Like we used to get scary masks, scare each other, or that. But the point is that would be scary. Like
All of it's not okay. But
Huh?
Sorry. No,
I'm not saying it is.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about jahiliyyah.
anyway, yeah. So it is. Yeah, all of it's scary. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that point. That's what you're allowed to look at. Sa'ad, what do you think? So
I'm
I'm
really
trying to.
enjoying this. It's really trying to drag me in. It doesn't work. No one drags me in. No one tells me what to say. No one makes me say.
Sa'ad, you still has a beautiful face, huh?
So okay, so you can look, yeah. Okay, question, yeah. What about some sisters that are very righteous, that when the brother says I would like to see you, she gets like, no one sees me.
Yeah, just marry without seeing, yeah.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
What do you mean by see? Again, are we talking about
I hear the
heads,
question.
neck,
Let's just
arms,
say if
feet?
If she takes a different opinion, maybe she takes just the face and hands opinion.
No, I'm
So-
not talking about
So
face
what
and
if
face
she
and hand.
believes?
Not talking about face and hand. Okay, you
Here's
can
the
tell her you're not
question,
getting married, sister.
I have a question. Yes. Say you go to a marriage
Marriage.
meeting, right?
Yeah.
And you meet the sister there, but she's wearing hijab on. Are you allowed to ask her to take it off?
Oh, back.
And you got resolve.
And the welly's
And you're there,
there.
you resolve everything.
In front of the welly, you're gonna look
I'm
at
not
her.
saying-
and
I'm not
if
saying-
she's sitting there, and for some reason she decided to wear
Get
hijab,
tapped
because-
on your
Yeah,
face, bro.
I'm
You
not-
get slapped
not
on your
saying-
face.
But you
I'm
bro.
not
shouldn't.
saying
That way
that-
shouldn't behave like that.
No, but I'm not saying that it's not
but
allowed.
would it go
I'm
against
not saying
her,
it's not
her
allowed.
shyness if she was to take it off?
No,
at
no,
your
no.
request?
I'm not saying it's not allowed, but I'm saying if you do that, I don't think it's very wise in that situation.
Maybe
The
do it
wise
se-
right there.
Maybe do it
second
before
meeting
the
set
marriage
up.
Before the
meeting.
marriage, yeah,
Just say,
arrange
oh,
it so it's like that.
BTW.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be wearing hijab?
BTW.
Or is your
By
daughter
the
going
way,
to be wearing
we
hijab?
thought speaking Arabic.
Because that's the
No,
thing.
Mute it, in fact, so they don't know what we're talking about. You don't know what we just spoke about, and it was like mad. If you knew that, or if you knew, it's like we just gave you the keys.
You
To,
Yassine said.
Like literally, it would have been the keys to
everyone would have been like,
Lot of
whoa.
people.
to Bezina, basically.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. Okay. Should we end it there? We
Yeah,
got.
should wrap it up.
There's a few more things.
Is there anything else to mention? I can't think of anything.
Mahar.
Marriage meetings.
Mahar is a bit of a long thing.
No, that's
this
not
is
marriage
just a
meeting.
meeting.
This is
This
just
is
a
It's a
meeting.
meeting.
I was gonna say just
What to
one,
look for.
just one thing. What to look for is a bit different
Sorry,
topic as
go
well.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what would you recommend
Can I-
people ask at the marriage meeting? What would you recommend someone to
I don't
find
know.
out?
I'm never married.
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Can I just give an advice to the brothers and sisters, yeah, at the marriage meeting? I feel like a lot.
You can.
I feel like marriage meetings, yeah, a lot of the time it moves very robotic, innit? Yeah. And like, obviously, when you come to a marriage meeting, you're trying to see if I'm gonna be able to click with this person, I'm gonna be able to get on with this person, I might be attracted to this person's personality, whatever have you. And it's very robotic. Like a man will come down, he'll be like, pull out his list of questions. She'll pull out her list of questions, as if they're at some corporate interview. And then they wonder why at the end of the meeting it's like, no, I'm not really feeding this person. It's because you never got to really know who they are. So having a marriage meeting, it doesn't take away from shyness that you actually have a conversation with each other. The whole point here is that you're allowed to have a conversation with them. The same way.
So what do you mean by conversation? Do you mean as in like telling jokes, giggling, laughing?
See, the point is that the point here is that the fact that the mahram's there, you will not have an inappropriate conversation. So whatever conversation,
So isn't that why they revert back to having this
mahram there.
corporate mind? No,
No.
having the corporate.
There's two extremes, right? There's an extreme which is too corporate, and there's another extreme which is you start being inappropriate with her. Now, the best way to balance it out is what is okay according to urf, according to customs, within the confines of the presence of the mahram. Does that make sense? So the mahram being there, you're not gonna flirt with her. You're not gonna try and chaps. You're not gonna be inappropriate. You're not gonna say anything mad. Does that make sense? You're gonna be able, huh?
Yeah.
As long as the mahram has got some ghira, you know, he's not the youth,
صح.
then you know you're not going to overstep the
That's
boundary.
another big problem.
But you
these
can
days.
have a chit chat, like how you sister. So what do you do? What are you interested in? What you're interested in? Mashallah. Da 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 da. Da. What will be wrong with him being a bit social with her? Because he wants to see. She wants to see. Can I get on with this person?
In front of the mahram. We
Yeah.
emphasize this, huh?
Yeah, in front of the mahram. In front of the
mahram.
mahram. Million times in front of the mahram. In front of the mahram. Does
Just
that
coming
make
back
sense?
to this mahram issue, yeah. Well, I think this is just to end on this note.
So
yeah.
question: what will be wrong with seeing if he's got a sense of humor?
So you're saying,
I'm asking you. I wasn't making a statement. I was asking the question.
I don't know anything.
but I'm saying, why
There's nothing wrong
can't
with that, yeah.
can't he bust jokes with the mahram and then she'll know, right? He's got a sense of humor.
Because maybe the mahram's got a dead sense of humor.
But
And
the
he
guys,
laughs at
you could tell someone's sense of humor by the way they bust jokes. It's because
I-
other people don't laugh at them.
But
what
the
if
point
you
is, the
ask
Sharia never conditioned it.
Condition what?
That he, sorry, the Sharia never prohibited him from, showing his sense of humor.
Be clear what you're saying.
That's the thing. That it's hard. You don't want to say
hard.
something too. You don't want to make such a bold statement that people open a door towards.
But I feel
madness.
like by being
No, you wanna-
by being vigilant about it, you've opened a bigger door.
Not at all. If the mahram's there, you can be
You
social
will
with
know,
her.
Yeah,
you could be
mahram's
social with
there,
her.
You're gonna know what you're gonna do when you come.
And that's the beauty of the Sharia, by the
And
way.
if you
yeah?
do something mad, obviously you're gonna get slapped.
And by the way, that's the beauty of the Sharia, because
But that's the issue though, that most mahram these days won't even.
no, I think they
well,
will. I think they will. I think you got a practicing girl. You're
obviously
at a
will.
marriage meeting. There's some level, some degree of decency that's there. Do you understand?
In her.
Huh?
No.
Sometimes the
Even
mahram.
the mahram.
No, not necessarily,
Yeah.
bro. How many pictures do you know who they're practicing?
If
their
not,
parents are
if
against
not,
them wearing
if not, then Ustad
jilbab.
Muawiyah Taqa's got a service where he does wikala on behalf of walis under the permission of the wali and the authority of the wali who don't have much Islamic knowledge to be able to conduct the Islamic perspective of the meeting. I'll put the link to his website below.
Okay, last question, yeah.
I like that.
What is so bad about just getting to know the person before you even get to the point where you tell the mahram?
Oh, that leads.
Like a lot of people are going to be watching this thinking like, a lot of people watching this, yeah, because obviously we've mentioned the mahram and this and that, but what if someone's thinking, look, I don't really want to bring it to my parents unless I'm like, it's going to be embarrassing if I go through the marriage meetings, then it's like, oh, if I don't want to do it anymore, it's going to be embarrassing or, you know, whatnot. So it's true. Well, like a lot of people, this is the issue that they have is that, why do I have to get my dad involved straight away? Why
You
can't
don't
I
have your
just...
dad, your mahram.
Okay, oh, mahram, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, not cousin, my uncle, my, you know, whoever it is, my granddad. But why do I have to get them involved straight away? Why can't I just find out who, you know, what they're on, this, that, whatnot, make a group, my sister, like
You
a guy,
can find out what they're on
a
from,
guy, his
from-
sister and her.
You can find out what they're on from their Twitter feed.
What if they're not on Twitter?
Huh? The Instagram feed.
What if they're not on Instagram?
Snapchat feed.
What if they're not
Who are
on
their
Snapchat?
friends?
Huh?
Who their friends are.
So you want to chat? So I should chat to her friends who
No,
are girls.
just find out.
Ask around, ask around.
Okay, what if
What's
no one
so
knows?
bad about not
Huh?
doing it? So what's so
If
bad
they
about
don't know
getting
this
point
guy
is-
is
the point is-
Majhul al-Ayn,
the point
Majhul
is-
al-Hal, he should not be married.
The point is,
He
okay,
could
cool.
be a
Let's do
madman.
this. Let's do this. Yeah, I think this would be better. Number one. Okay, number one. First, give us your reasons why, and then number two, because someone might disagree with those reasons. I don't believe those reasons apply. The second one is just give the evidence why you have to do it, and if you now decide to go against it, you're not going against your preference, his preference, his preference. You're going against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basically. So first, what are the reasons why?
So because
have
the
a
first
wedding.
thing, because it leads to zina. It leads to zina. It does. It's a road to zina. It is a road to zina. Man, or some might not do it, but it's a road to zina.
Allah said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا
And
الزِّنَا.
Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Don't go close to zina. So that's the evidence. So it is a road to zina.
What's
And
zina?
you have
But what if someone
What's
says,
zina?
I know
What's
that
zina?
I'm not going to end up into zina?
premarital intercourse. That's what it is. It's a good English word, huh? Is that the right?
Premarital relations, yeah.
Oh, okay. SubhanAllah.
Intercourse,
say- ask
intercourse
again,
is the
ask
act
again.
of intimacy itself.
Okay, ask again.
Zina can be
Not that
kissing.
far.
No, we're not going to cut it out.
Kissing, touching, all of that can be zina.
Yeah, we're not going to cut out that.
Zina
have
is
to keep it
having
natural.
intercourse before marriage. That's what it is.
Just intercourse. So I'm not to kiss. Kissing is not zina.
That is a leading to zina. But it's a type of zina, but it's not really the actual zina, no.
But okay, zina itself is just sex.
Anything
Yeah.
that leads to zina,
not
looking,
allowed.
it's the least of it is looking, and that's haram. So if I can't look at her, I can't
What
do
about
nothing
two?
about
What's
that.
the evidence that looking is haram?
Allah says in the Quran, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِم. Lower your gaze.
Okay, and then what we're saying is that having a meeting with them is more than just
And by
looking.
the way, the Prophet said
Yeah.
that the
Sallallahu
eyes that look at the haram commit zina. So it was called zina. Why? Because it's going to lead to zina.
So anyone who's watching this now can't argue that, oh look, I'm going to be platonic, or I'm not going to be attracted, or I'm not going to end up doing zina with her.
Abadan, not allowed. Because it leads to it.
So
Just say,
if
okay, me
you-
personally, okay, what if someone says, what about me personally? I won't do zina though. I can control myself.
Sharia doesn't make
First of all, we
exceptions.
said the
based on
Sharia
people,
doesn't make there's no exceptions just based on your situation. First of all, second of all, you're not sure. You just think you might. How many people they thought they were safe, but they weren't safe, and that's the reality of the situation. So it's not allowed because of that. It leads to it, and we find in the Sharia that the Quran and the Sunnah does everything in it. It does so many. It puts so many things in place to stop the mixing of men and women. And that principle shows that anything that is unnecessarily mixing, unnecessarily talking, or even talking that's not outside the boundaries of the Sharia is not allowed. And there's many of that. Like one of the evidence, one of them being the Prophet ﷺ saying that the best rows for salah for the women is the back row, and the best row for the men is the front row.
That's in salah, bro, in a
Salah.
masjid behind the Prophet sallam.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
So there's any
Let alone
liberal, half-baked Twitter Muslims watching this saying, but I don't have this, I don't have that. Bruv,
mostly they're Shia or Sufi. You know that, right?
get out of here.
Also, like the Prophet ﷺ said, the women should be on the side of the roads, and the men should be in the middle. That's another one. The fact
There's
that
many
the hijab-
examples. There's many
But you know
examples.
what would you call it? Some reverts might be here sitting thinking, I ain't got no.
I haven't got any.
You understand? I ain't got no family members in Staneva. What you could do is you can go to Ustad Ma'awiyah Taka. I'm really pushing the service because I think it's a very nice alternative, practical alternative for the problems in the Muslim community. If you got some issues where you're a revert, you don't have a wali, whatever have you, like he sorts this out.
So we'll leave it there.
Go to the link below.
Go to the link below. On that note,
Oh wait, 1 second. I have to shamelessly plug Sunnah Match.
go
So
for
not
it.
much.
Yeah, so basically, if you're watching this, now you know how to do a marriage meeting, but you ain't got no one to meet. So go to Sunnah Match, sign up at the link below ASAP, and basically it's a matchmaking service. Well, not matchmaking service, but it's a service where you can look at various different profiles and basically arrange meetings with them.
Yeah.
And it's halal. There's no haram, nothing haram in the process. And we've already got people married from it. And yeah, we relaunched it a few days ago.
Yeah.
Well, by the time you're watching it, it would have been a few days ago. So go to the link below, inshallah ta'ala. Now you know how to conduct a marriage meeting. Go find someone to meet.
And if you want to make sure you get marriage meetings, just in your marriage profile, just write